It was early morning. Peter, along with several other disciples, had spent the entire night fishing. Exhausted and discouraged, they began to return to shore. But their efforts yielded nothing. As they neared the land, a figure on the beach called out to them, "Friends, haven't you any fish?" They didn't recognize him at first. With tired voices, they responded, "No." The man on the shore then said, "Throw your net on the right side of the boat, and you will find some." Although it seemed unlikely after hours of fruitless work, they obeyed. To their amazement, the net quickly filled with so many fish that they struggled to haul it in. At that moment, John, one of the disciples, recognized the man on the shore and exclaimed, "It is the Lord." Peter, filled with excitement, quickly threw on his outer garment, jumped into the water, and swam toward Jesus, leaving the others to bring the boat and the large catch of fish. When they all reached the shore, they found that Jesus had already prepared a fire with fish and bread cooking over it. He invited them, "Come and have breakfast." None of the disciples dared ask who he was. They knew it was the Lord. In this quiet, intimate moment, Jesus served them the bread and fish. After they had finished eating, Jesus turned to Peter. His voice, though gentle, carried a depth of meaning. "Simon, son of John, do you love me more than these?" He was asking Peter not only if he loved him, but if that love was greater than the affection he had for his fellow disciples or for his former life as a fisherman. Peter, feeling the weight of the question, replied earnestly, "Yes, Lord, you know that I love you." Jesus responded, "Feed my lambs." It was a command, a call for Peter to care for the vulnerable, those who would become followers of Christ. But Jesus wasn't finished. He asked again, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" Peter, a bit confused but still resolute, answered, "Yes, Lord, you know that I love you." Jesus said to him, "Tend my sheep." This wasn't just about caring for the young in faith, but also about guiding the mature believers in their spiritual journey. Then, for the third time, Jesus asked, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" This time, Peter's heart ached. He remembered how he had denied Jesus 3 times the night he was arrested. He had failed his Lord in his darkest hour, and now Jesus was asking him a third time, as if to mirror those denials with opportunities for restoration. In deep sorrow, Peter responded, "Lord, you know all things. You know that I love you." Jesus looked at Peter with compassion and said, "Feed my sheep." Through these 3 questions, Jesus was not only forgiving Peter for his denials, but he was also restoring him and commissioning him for a greater task. Jesus entrusted Peter with the responsibility of leading and nurturing the early Christian community, the flock of believers. This moment was not just about healing Peter's past. It was about preparing him for the future. After this, Jesus hinted at the cost of Peter's future ministry. He told Peter that when he was younger, he dressed himself and went where he wanted, but when he was older, others would stretch out his hands and lead him where he did not want to go. Jesus was foretelling Peter's eventual martyrdom, but even this prophecy came with a call, "Follow me." Peter, now fully restored, understood that his love for Jesus must be lived out in a life of service and sacrifice. The denials of the past were behind him, and the mission ahead was clear. He was to shepherd the people of God, no matter the cost. From that day forward, Peter embraced his calling. The man who had once been afraid to admit knowing Jesus now became a bold and passionate leader of the early church, fulfilling the command given to him that morning by the sea. In this story, we see the boundless grace of Jesus, who does not leave us in our failures, but calls us to rise, be forgiven, and join in his work.